Welcome back. Entire audience of bisexuals here, right? Obviously, we're all bisexual. You know what? I mean, I'm very accepting of other people's lifestyles, and I think people should be able to love whomever they want to love and live with whomever they want to live. But you know what? Sometimes I find it offensive, Alex, when it's not the truth. I'm very accepting of all different kinds of people in the world, but everybody is not bisexual.
Society in general is telling us the same thing. We should be exactly like you. And frankly, I wouldn't want to be like you.
I'm not saying everybody should be like me. I don't want anybody to be like me except me.
I wouldn't either.
You can be you. That's fine. But then don't turn around and tell me that I'm bisexual, because I'm not.
Well,
oh, Richard.
Have you ever tried
it? Frankly, that would be as offensive as if I turned around and said to all of you, pull off those wigs and dress butch and walk around singing lumberjack songs because you're all men. You know, I wouldn't impose my feelings on top of you, so don't impose yours on me.
feelings on us right now. Every time you say the word normal, you're imposing your feelings on us. You're saying
when did I say normal?
You've said it about 1,000 times during the show, and you're saying it
in what context? Normal is a word. Normal is a word.
And
when did I say it in a derogatory way?
Every time you've...
To whom?
To the audience.
No, I did not say it in a derogatory way.
Yes, you did.
Go back and run the tape.
Talk, guys.
Say something right now.
I said, wait a second. No, I want to deal with her because this young lady doesn't know. What does the word normal mean to you? What does it mean?
Normal is just whatever everybody is what they are, and that's normal.
That's not the definition of normal.
Please, for the love of God, stop arguing.
No, wait a second.
I feel a wave of hatred in this room, and I just have to speak out right now.
There are societal norms. You are outside of them. Fine. So was Genet. So was Picasso. So are many, many artists. That's outside the norm. But it's not a pejorative thing.
Say it in a derogatory
I don't
way?
say it. That's your interpretation that I'm saying in a derogatory way because you're hung up on not being normal. That's what your problem is. Yes. Hold on. Let me get to some questions here in the audience. Stand up, please.
Hi, this question's for Alex and Royce. I'm wondering, being that you're both having relationships with bisexuals, aren't you afraid of the HIV virus?
Yes. Royce?
Yes, everybody's afraid of the HIV.
Royce, do you have a response? Excuse me, Royce?
Oh,
safe
sex is the norm.
Okay. It's the norm. Don't use that word, the norm. That's a dirty word.
It's the way that you use it.
But frankly, if somebody called me normal, I would say it as an insult. I think normal means that you're just sort of have no distinguishing features at all. Yeah. Meredith?
I have to comment on the wave of hatred I feel coming at the stage.
Oh, I hate you. Shut up.
And I feel that that people who are saying that this is, I want to distinguish myself from people who are claiming to hate homosexuals. I do not hate homosexuals, and the people who are sitting in the audience calling themselves Christians and saying that they have a reason to hate, I'm sorry, but I disagree with you.
Try and look hard enough. You'll find something beautiful.
Anyway, wait a second. Hold on for a minute. There's nobody here who hates anybody up there, do they? I don't hate anybody up there.
I don't hate anybody. And I've had the kicked out of me, too, for looking like this. And I still don't hate people for it.
Right, so I think it's good that we should
I don't hate any of these people. Come here, give me a hug. Oh.
Fabulous.
Yay! We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. We have a lot of relationship problems on our stage here today. So we have a very special relationship expert, somebody who does have expertise in dealing with problems like this. Please welcome our therapist here today. And he or she learned so much because she took a psychology class in college. That's misunderstood. All right, misunderstood. What kind of advice would you...
Well, I want you to know that I deal with drag queens day in and day out. I run a business called Screaming Queens. We send out drag queens every day. So I deal with these girls on a daily basis, you know. And you have to get along when you're doing big parties. They all have to get along with each other. So I'm concerned with people having all this tension between them. I want them all to get along. Now, in this situation, okay, I think that here we have people who basically do care about each other. You care about each other a lot, your sisters, you care about each other. And I think that when it comes to religion, the whole point of it is that people should learn to deal with each other and learn to get along with each other. Now, obviously, two people have different ideas about religion, but there are some similarities there. I think a dialogue is needed. I think if you calmly sat down, maybe you might change each other's ideas about a few things.
This book, Rescue the Bible from Fundamentalism.
All right, could you deal with our next...
I think maybe in private you should have a long discussion about it.
No,
a lot comes out of discussion. Really, it's practically everybody's answer is communication. Now, these three, I can't send them out to a party together if they're like this.
At 3 o'clock in the morning when she's drunk.
Now, listen. All this bitterness isn't going to get you anywhere, yelling and screaming, you know, and I'm not aiming this at anybody, okay? You were a little bit rash, you were a little bit rash. Now, you spent all...
I don't know if we're going to start with this now.
Okay, well, I think... Do you think they should talk about it a little bit? Quietly, calmly? Oh, come on,
all right, sit down, sit down. That's all right, all right. Now deal with our last problem here, if you will.
We need communication. Communication is the important thing. Now, we've all got our qualities, we've all got something good about us. Okay, Hedda might be beautiful, but you've got a lot of qualities that would make men interested in you also. Now, would you really want to stay in a relationship where someone really didn't want to be in that relationship? This goes the same for you, honestly. You can't make somebody love you. If somebody cares about you and wants to be with you, then they should.
Well, that's a good point.
So
do you think that possibly you're better off without this guy now because you know that there is something that he was obviously didn't want you to know about or was covering up, was his attraction to men or at least to your brother?
I want revenge. I'm sorry.
Just get out of a
I
bad
know.
situation. There's a lot of fish.
How old are you? I mean, this will be so behind you. Look at you.
Boys,
You're young. You're beautiful.
I'm twice your size. I can kick your butt.
Isn't she
so let's be honest about
both
it,
of you, listen, both of you. I want you to look at each other now. Now you grew up together, your brother and sister. You had a happy childhood. You told me you basically got along in your childhood. Do you really want to go on this long? Do you want to go on this long? Being
well,
all
first of all,
torn apart
I
like
do want to make a voice, but second of all, I do not like taking advice from a clown. So.
All right.
What if something happened to her?
We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Steve is here today looking for help to fill the high heels of his ex-love. Our therapist today, Misunderstood. Being the big-hearted soul that she is, therapist Misunderstood is going to coach him along on his quest for the perfect queen in a game we call Dregs or Drags. Now, behind the screen, we have one drag queen, I think, right? Yes. Okay, the other two are not drag queens. You'll be trying to figure out which one is the drag queen based upon a series of questions you have before you right now. Bachelorette number 1, would you please say hello to our people behind the screen?
Hello, how you doing? How you doing, everybody? How you doing? Steven!
Bachelorette number 2, please say hello to Steve.
Hi, you big bad bachelor.
And Bachelorette number 3.
Hello, Stephen, baby. How are you? What are you? And where are you?
I know I said earlier in the show that I was a heterosexual, but if I was on Gilligan's Island with some of these people, the professor would start to look pretty good. Okay. Go ahead. You can begin your questions.
I hope he picks a pretty one. Bachelorette number 1. Although brains and intellect are important to Steve, now so is sex appeal. If you were standing in front of a mirror, and that mirror could talk, what would it say back to you?
Oh, that's easy. You know what my mirror says to me every day is, honey, you look so hot in the nude, why do you have clothes on? Right? I'm cleaning the bathroom. He said, put down the Windex,
Okay,
honey, come lick me.
Shut up! Yes, next question, please, misunderstood.
All right, now, Bachelorette number 2. My ex, he's a little bit heartbroken over our breakup. Now, would you please sing to him a song of love that would make him forget me and want only you? Which is hard.
Oh, baby, come to me.
They had to drown her out with that stupid sound effect.
Woo! That was very good! Very, very good. Okay, next question, please.
Bachelorette number 3. Springtime is for the birds and the bees, when new love blossoms. Now, if my ex Steve here were the bee, and you were the pollen, what would the flower be saying?
All right, I think that's enough. Next question, please, misunderstood.
Well, I'm gonna let Steve give it a try. Go ahead, Steve.
Go ahead. He can ask his own question.
I just can't seem to get misunderstood off my mind. In one night of passion, how would you become the only thing on my mind? Details, please.
It's Bachelorette number
1.
You would never forget me. Because you know what I like to do? I like to take an old leftover casserole and spread it all over my body. And then you can eat it off with a plastic spoon.
All right, I think we've heard enough about that. Why don't you just... I don't think these questions are illuminating your search at all. Why don't you just make a choice? You know, take a random choice, 1, 2, or 3. What do you think?
It's no contest.
Audience?
No contest. No contest. It's got to be 2.
2. All right. You did not pick Bachelorette number 1, who is a Cruella de Vil look-alike stand-up comic, Joan Keeter. Please say hello to her. You did not pick Bachelorette number 3. A date with her would have been a royal pain. She may not be in drag, but she sure thinks she's a queen. She's our queen, Nina Rose. And finally, you did pick Bachelorette number 2. High heels and a push-up bra would have made all your wildest drag fantasies a reality. Here she is. Please welcome Varla Merman. And you and your unusual date will be off to see one of New York's most exciting shows, Les Incroyables. You'll also feast on fabulous French cuisine, all compliments of the Captain Banana down in Soho. And boy, is that a great show. Have a great night. But we will be back here in just a moment. Stick around.
Promotional consideration provided by Screaming Queens of New York City. For all your party needs, give them a scream. They'll send you a queen.
Thanks for joining us in our exploration of transvestite love. And from all of us here to all of you, as always,